really try to make them behave better, or else if they are too mean, lock them up.
Yeah, but there's no such thing as an objective evil, as an evil incarnate like they would have the Satan to be.
We got enough in those human beings.
Human beings.
Then we do have the problem of evil in the non-moral sense of earthquakes and tornadoes and that sort of thing, which I don't think are...
It's not true evil, it's just natural.
It would be a natural thing. It's not a moral evil.
Okay, getting back to our foundation of the Democratic Republic, it really goes to the Eastern Mediterranean, where Jehovah was not popular, but, I mean, it wasn't in the Eastern Mediterranean where he was popular, but to the North Central Mediterranean where Zeus was, and in particular Athena. So if we're going to go back to a god for democracy, it wouldn't be Jehovah in the first place, it would be Athena, more likely.
And you have one passage, oddly enough, we forget in 1 Samuel, that would be called a libertarian view of government, and in which, I mean, it is a very, very severe critique of monarchy. And it looks as if he's talking about something like a libertarian version.
Libertarians have a very severe critique of government itself, don't they? It should be a very minimalistic
minimal government
institute.
Yeah, government is basically for libertarian, is for protection.
Well, let's look at one of the particular people from the ancient Mediterranean, Solon. Do you have the slide for Solon? He was temporarily awarded the autocratic powers by fellow citizens that had the wisdom to sort out the differences for them in a peaceful and equitable manner. According to Aristotle, Solon legislated for all citizens to be admitted as citizens for a court to be formed by the citizens themselves, the first roots of democracy. Of course, democracy was then carried over into the Senate in Rome. I have another caller. It's a hectic day.
Good.
Welcome to Freethought Forum. May I have your name?
Go.
You're on Freethought Forum. May I help you?
Hi.
Hey.
Oh.
Go.
May I have your name or a question?
Actually, yes, I have a quote. What makes you all not believe in God?
Well, I had believed in God. I was a Christian until I was about 22 years old. Then I studied other religions of the world. All of them believed that they were true. All of them gave me just as much evidence as Christianity did, which was really none, an ancient document, ancient texts. So it just didn't logically follow that any of them were true.
You just believe in a creator?
No, ma'am, we don't. I don't, and most atheists would tell you the same thing.
What do you think about this? All unbelievers are believers, and all believers are unbelievers. Let me give you an example. Whatever view of God a person holds to, are you with me? Whatever view of God a person holds to might be greatly different from the view of God another person holds to. So if you believe in the view number A, you would be an agnostic or an unbeliever regarding this other view.
So, are you an atheist?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm saying everybody is an atheist in that respect. You don't believe in some versions of God.
Right.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
You don't believe in Krishna. You don't believe in...
She's got the point. I think you see the point. If you got another question, that was a good one.
Did you have another question?
Huh?
Did you have another?
No, I was just wondering. But I understand that you don't believe in, I guess, the name God. You just believe in something.
Well, we believe in the same things you do, like I told the last caller. We believe in home, hearth, health, love, family, democracy.
Actually, people believe in a lot of things. Now, let me give you an example. If I ask you to get on the plane and I'm the pilot, I would hope you would be a very good skeptic and an unbeliever, not trust that. You see what I'm getting at?
Because he's not a pilot.
I'm not a pilot. So we all have a lot of faith. I'm sitting on a chair.
Well, that's a different type of faith than religious
Well,
faith.
what I'm saying is faith is a commitment. So the real issue is what you commit to. And people commit to different things. And you and I, let's suppose here's one person who's a theist, another person who's an atheist.
Right.
They would be in disagreement on one thing, but they would be committed to lots of other things that they have in common.
Yeah.
In fact, I know some atheists who are closer to some Christians on some issues than either one is to those in their own camp. You see what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
Life gets complicated.
Thanks for your time.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Well, let's move on with our roots.
Okay.
Let me mention the book that I had mentioned by Karl Popper, The Open Society and Its Enemies. He traces out some of our roots and some of our enemies. Two of the big enemies he talks about are fascism and communism. What he means by democracy is an open society where people have their individual rights and their freedom, and you have freedom with laws. But the purpose of the law is to maximize freedom. I'll give you an example. Let's go for the phone call, though.
Yeah, we have a phone call coming in. Hold on. You're on Freethought Forum. May I help you? Do you have a question?
Yeah, hi, my name is Ken.
Hey, Ken.
And it's not so much a question, but I'd kind of like to relate my own particular experience, if you don't mind.
Sure.
When I was younger, my grandmother gave me a story Bible, and I was reading in it, and there was a story about the prophet Elisha being mocked by some village boys, and God sent a couple of she-bears to kill 20 of them.
Judges.
I couldn't articulate it at the time, but I was thinking that's not even good or evil. That's just not even rational.
No.
And I don't. And later on, I got to reading Harris, Hitchens, and Dawkins. They've articulated the way I feel in such a manner that I don't feel alone, and it's just nice to have that particular type of literature out there. I wish there were more.
Really? One of the things that I've found since becoming an atheist is the world just makes more sense. You're not spending your time saying, why did God do this? Why did God do that? Why did my mother get cancer? Why did my father die this way? You're not constantly questioning these things, because once you realize the world is a natural place, then you see that natural events happen to it just as a course of life, just as things going on.
Yeah, there's a very good Jewish writer who wrestled rather heroically with this problem. He believes in a God, but he also faces the problem of suffering and evil. And he wrote that book, that's very popular. I've forgotten the name of it. Why bad things happen to good people. And in the book, he seems to be saying there is a God, but the power is limited. So that here you have a version of God, but he modifies the notion of omnipotence because he realizes it doesn't fit the facts. Now, in ancient Greek, when they had the freedom of thought to do this, said either God is limited in power or is limited in his morals. He was trying to say, given all the suffering of the world. Yeah, Epicurus.
The riddle of Epicurus.
How do you deal with that? Well, that's what many of the theologians, whether theist or atheist, have tried to deal with. These are rational people trying to work through this.
That's theodicy, isn't it?
Theodicy, exactly. And that's if you want to read some of it, I've got a book called Religion and the Challenge of Philosophy, and I try to deal with theodicy in that book. I have great respect for both the atheists and those theists who try to face the problem. The atheist might say, you might say of the atheist, how do you explain goodness? You see, that's what's always in the The theosophist says, how do you explain evil? Well, both need to be explained. And that's what rational thinking is try to come up with better theories.
A lot of it's explained just by human wants and needs, and the conflict with other human wants and needs that other people exhibit.
Exactly. You don't have to worry about ethics for just bare atoms.
No. Plus, there are mental problems, diseases, and unbalanced mental states that exhibit all kinds of actions in the world. You don't have to look too far outside of a mental hospital to find just about any kind of trait that you want that you're looking for. It's a natural world, and natural things happen. I mean, you have imbalanced people.
Let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
Is this a regular program? I mean,
every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday at 5:30.
Hope you'll be with us. Yeah, have a good question. More good question.
Very good.
Questions. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Let me mention Elijah is a good example of the difference between an open society of a democracy and Elijah. Elijah was a prophet who believed the prophets of Baal were wrong. Okay? Fair enough. So what did he do? He cut the throats of 400 prophets. That's the difference between an open society and a free society and a tyranny. Yeah. Now, tyranny can be run by the clergy or by the laity, either one.
We have another call. 3 minutes left. I hope we have time to take it.
Go.
You're on Freethought Forum. What's your name?
Nancy.
Hello, Nancy. Do you have a question?
Yes, my question is, so do you guys believe that the Bible is a lie?
Well, no, I believe it's the best history, best work of literature we have from the Middle Eastern period on the eastern side of the Mediterranean for that time. It gives us a great insight to the Jewish history of the time. However, I don't think that we should take it any more literally than any other great book that was written at that time.
Yeah, for a book to be a lie, you'd have to say the guy or the woman who wrote parts of it knew that such and such was true, but they told some other story. Now, you and I know, Nancy, that sometimes we say things that turn out not to be true. That doesn't make us liars. That means we're just we're just finite mortals. We made mistakes. You got the same thing in the Bible. They try to deal with life at their time with what they had, just as we do. And you and I know that some of the things we think are true in our grand schemes might turn out to be modified 100 years from now. And the same in the Bible, you can see modification of the viewpoints within the text. After all, it took hundreds and hundreds of years to write the Bible.
Most of these stories in the Bible were told orally over campfires and in camps for centuries before they were actually written down. And then when they were compiled, it was compiled by
various scribes. And what's beautiful about
a committee of men is what I was trying to get to.
Men and women. And what's beautiful about the Hebrew Bible in particular is they don't fudge. They give you the hard side, the beautiful side. You got horrible things in the Hebrew Bible. You got incredible beauty of human life, both.
We got 1 minute left. I want to make just a couple of points. This is the Treaty of Tripoli. It was ratified by the unanimous Congress in 1797. This highlighted area here says that we're not a Christian nation. It was signed by James Madison and ratified by the entire Congress. The Atheist Society of Knoxville will get together for a happy hour every Tuesday. Tonight we're going to be going down to Barley's Tap Room after the show, so if you come down and meet us. The Rationalists of East Tennessee will have a roundtable called Thinking Rationally About Climate Change, October 3rd. The Rationalists of East Tennessee also have a book club, and the subject will be dangerously funny. Thank you very much for joining us this week. We hope you'll come back every week and give us some calls. We appreciate it.
Good calls. Good calls.